Hey guys and gals, what is good? What is good today? What is good today? Let's go. Let's go. Thank you for being here. Thank you so much for being here. You are awesome. Sawsome. Turn it up. Turn it up, you guys. Again, thank you for hitting the play button. Lurkers and twerkers, every single one of you hanging out, watching the content. I appreciate you. I know I say it a lot, but I just want you to know. 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 Let's go! Let's go, you guys and gals. I appreciate you. Bear with me while I do mod type stuff. Just need to get it out of the way and done so that I'm not concentrating or distracted. You know, because it's pretty easy for me to get distracted, that's for sure. So yeah, trying to stay on the tracks and keep going down, the rails, Trying my best. I am looking for a couple of things here. Post in chat. Check the stream. Of course, I'm jumping between 3 documents, trying to find the same thing all the time. There it is. Found that. And am I done with, I got that. I know I did that. Yeah, I think this is the document, so that's good. All right. Some positive, inspirational quotes for you guys and gals, because I love doing that. Keep you motivated. Keep you, keep the drive going, right? Guys, gals, got to keep the drive going. Definitely, must. I will do my best to keep you positive while you are on this journey. Also doing my best to make sure, I do the content in a way that is, easy for you guys to learn from. Myself, Johnny Whiskey Tango Sharp Coding. Let's go. You guys are awesome. I say that a lot, but it's true. Okay. All right, check the stream. I'm sure we're good, but I just gotta know. I say that a lot, but it's... Oh, my bad. I should have let it play out. But yes, there we go. We're good. We're golden. Golden like Freddy. Let's go. Usually I say a different one, but I thought I would change it up a little bit. All right. Yeah, that's good. Let's do shout outs. Am I in the correct document? No. That's okay. Jumping between documents. And we shall. Let's see. Where is that? Is that this document? I'm going to do shout outs, but I just had another thought quickly. Bear with me, guys. Okay, I got it. All right. Boom. Get this done. How's your day going? Huh? How's your day going? Man, I hope it's going great. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. I know, it's funny to say. Okay, there we go. Boom. Shout outs, let's go. Showing the love to you guys and gals, you beautiful, intelligent people. Again, you guys and gals, that watch the content, follow the content, lurking and twerking, whatever you're doing, learning here through the channels, and you guys are like great, okay? I just want you to know that, if you're watching the content, and I'm a bit of a realist, okay? If you're watching the content, that automatically tells me right off the get-go that you're an intelligent individual. I don't care, where you're from, what your background is. 120% an intelligent individual. Because let's be real. People that don't want to learn or just only maybe care about themselves and they're always resisting learning or whatever, let's just be real, they're not going to be watching this kind of stuff, okay? They choose to be, empty in the head, so if you actually walked into inside their head, you could do this. Hello. How are you? Where'd you go? Why is it so empty in here? Whoops! My bad. Did that come out? I didn't say that. It's in the past. Have I done shoutouts yet? Dun, dun, dun. Let's get there. Shoutouts to you guys and gals here in Twitchland. Oh, I appreciate you so much. Thank you for the support. Nicole Trace 66, Bart number 1, Jim Jam 1238, Kazerts 20, Gavin 555, my guy Kamikaze ML. Hope you're still around. I appreciate you, brother. Okay. I should go on to this thing where I say, don't kamikaze yourself, man. I love you, man. I want you here. It's great to have you. Let's go. We got to do this. I must do this as well. Oh, yes. Here we go. This is for Hi, Ducky. Why is it always low? There we go. Low volume. Unbelievable. How do things even change on their own? How is that even possible? Why is that even a thing? Even in settings, how do the settings get changed when you don't even go into the settings? How does that even happen? I say that because every once in a while I gotta go into my Streamlabs or OBS studio and check to make sure that the mic is not disabled. How's it go from, I can't even, it breaks my mind. It does, guys, breaks my mind. So it's one of those things I have to check all the time before a stream. Because let's just say that I've done a couple of streams where I'm talking and you guys aren't hearing. Let's just say those were not very happy days. Because, the stream was great. I was probably in a really good mood. The vibes were awesome. And for some reason, the mic is disabled. Sometimes you learn things the hard way, unfortunately. It sucks. Yeah, okay, I don't want to think about that because that's just lighting a fire under me right now. Yeah, no bueno. No bueno. Did I get everybody? No. All right, Ducky, let's finish with this. We're doing shoutouts still, guys. I know. I gotta focus. All right. And let's continue. Wicked Stat. Let's go. Con Papas 9. Con, how you doing? And my guy, my man, Slow Motions. Let's go. Appreciate the support, every single one of you. Beautiful, intelligent people. I wish you all the best. I hope life is treating you well. I mean that. Let's go. Okay, so we've done that. Let's do this. Let's go here. Let's do this. Let's do that. And let's do this. And let's do this. And go. All right. Yes. Guys and gals, that is for you, brothers and sisters, supporting Johnny Whiskey Tango Sharp Coating. Every single one of you, awesome. Okay, how am I going to survive this stream? I'm almost down to 12 fluid ounces of coffee. No bueno. We're just beginning. We are just beginning. And my coffee is so far, far away. Nurse, coffee IV stat. All right, here we go, guys and gals. Let's get to it. As usual, I want to show the love. Let you guys know that I'm proud of you. I am. It's so great to have you. Okay, so we're gonna get our thinking cap on here shortly, quickly, guys and gals. We are. I just want to let those know that are maybe dropping by for the first time. Okay, welcome. It's great to have you. Truly is. But if you're looking for, let's say, and you found the right place, I'm just gonna let you know. Okay, I'm doing my best over here. Okay, I'm working on my teaching skills. All right, and I actually enjoy doing this. I do, helping you guys out, doing something positive for the world. That's what's up. But if you want to learn C++ and you're new to it, I recommend that you follow the series. I do upload my content to YouTube just so I don't lose the great instructional videos that I'm doing for you guys and gals. Okay, so we don't lose anything. Unfortunately, it is what it is over here in Twitch land. My video is only good for a week, so until I guess I become an important person, which Apparently I'm not yet. So, but that's okay. I'm okay with that, all right? Okay? Personally, I could suck it up and deal with it, all right? Just, you know. All right, so let's continue on. Follow the series, right? We're going step by step here, gradually learning and growing, right? Okay? I've been at this 4 years, okay? And so, yeah. And yeah, I'm enjoying doing this. So, welcome again. And yeah, that's what I wanted to say. Just trying to recollect my mind here on what I wanted to get out to you guys and gals. This is a lesson, a lecture, a class, a lecture, a lecturing class, okay? Just as a heads up, okay? This isn't a 5-minute how-to type a variable and get 1 million views, okay? All right? Yerp. Good times, good stuff. All right, lurker and twerker, great to have you. Let's go. Lurkers and twerkers are great. Dedication. You are a dedicated individual. Whoever you are. Of course, you know, there could be more of you, but I don't know. My Streamlabs doesn't update, and I don't have the stream up. So I already got data going up. Okay? I'm already got data going upstream. Okay? I don't need data going downstream. Even though I'm on fiber optics. It does not matter. I got lots going on. Okay? I guess I could do that to look like I have another viewer. Alright, that's enough. Okay, I need to stop. Let's go. Okay? So it's time, guys. It's time. Let's do this. Okay? Trying to make it fun and interesting for you. If you want to get straight to the content, you know, and just want to get right to learning, that is so awesome of you, man. It's cool. Respect. Okay? Yeah, just skip right forward. I'm cool with that. If you don't want to listen to me going on and on and on and on and on and on. Right? That's fine. I'm fine with that. Here to help you guys and learn and such. That is the goal. That is the plan. Once I do get into teaching, I do stay on focus, okay? I do my best. All right, this is a lecture, a course. We're doing C++. We're following a course outline. Today, what are we doing today? Oh, wow, man. Organizing into functions. Whoa, wow, what is that? What is a function? Let's go. Let's do this. Flick the old switch into Brainium Cranium, guys and gals. Let's fill up that old brain library with some good information and turn it up. Okay. Although object-oriented programming, another way people will call it is OOP. It looks like oops or oop. Okay, object-oriented programming. I don't know why I want to say orientated all the time. I don't know. Yeah, I know. I'm odd, okay, but I'm okay with that. Yeah, you'll see it as object-oriented programming, and it's great. Man, once you get to the point of doing making the magic happen with objects, wow, what a wonderful feeling. It truly is. It's great, guys. You gotta be here. You gotta watch this. You could do this. I believe in you. I totally 100% support you in your journey to learn this language. Okay? OOP has shifted attention from functions and toward objects. Cool. Functions nonetheless remain a central component of any program. Yeah, functions are great. They truly are. Global functions. Global means like throughout. Well, let's say you're just on one source file. But actually, you can break it into different sources and headers. We're going to get into that. But global means like it can be seen everywhere, like throughout your program, okay? Even within this, you can have like global variables, right? Which are global. They can be seen throughout your program. We'll get into that, okay? Global functions can exist outside of objects and classes. That's true. They can, yeah. That's right. You don't need to create a class. We will be doing classes, but you can do functions without having a class. Yeah, we can. We could do this, guys. Let me show you. All right, we'll get to it. So they can exist outside of objects and classes and member functions. Member functions, there's the word member, guys, gals, right? This is where people kind of functions and members, methods. That's the word I was thinking. Maybe that's where it kind of came from. Instead of saying member functions, people just started calling it methods. It could be. I don't know. I'm not 100% certain about that. But it's definitely easier to say than going member functions, member functions, member functions. Right? When somebody calls a function a method, really, all it is, guys and gals, it's exactly the same thing. They're doing the same thing. It's like calling an individual two different names. Positive names, right? But it's no different, right? A function is a method. The only thing different is a method is part of a class. And you can have functions that are not part of a class. Therefore, equals, they are called functions. I know it's a lot. But just kind of try to keep it straight in your head. That's all. Normal functions, if you're not doing a class, you're creating normal functions. If you're creating a class and creating functions inside of a class, you're creating methods. That's all it is. Okay, so this course, you will learn what a function is and what its parts are, how to declare and to define functions, how to pass parameters into functions. Right, guys? As soon as you hear that word parameters, your brain should be thinking, ooh, brackets. How to return a value from a function. Yes. This is good. So you'll start with global functions, okay? We're going to begin with global functions, and next stream, maybe today, we'll see how it goes. Depends on how quickly I get through this stuff. I'm trying my best to move, as quickly as possible, guys, right? But I'm also trying to move at a reasonable learning pace and to give extra added instructions so that I fully am confident that you guys understand, okay? That's the goal. And you'll see how functions work from within classes and objects as well. I love working with, OOP. It's fun. Good times. Okay, what is a function? A function is, in effect, a sub-program. Okay? Now, just so you guys have kind of an idea, while I'm reading, so that you have a general kind of understanding, right? Because I could read a bunch of stuff, I could talk a bunch of stuff, but I don't want you to get lost in whatever thought, right? So if you look at the program we've created, literally from brand new, it was an empty program right from the beginning. I've got all this going on, and as a matter of fact, main is a function, guys and gals. But it's a special case type of function, okay? Int main. So int, of course, when you see int, you're probably thinking data type. And generally speaking, yeah, right? So this would be the return type is what it's called. So int is a return type. And anytime you see like a name and then a set of brackets with it looking exactly like this, automatically you should go, oh, that's a function, right? Or a method, for example. Okay, so here we just have basic statements. We're doing some declaring and initializing of variables. Nothing too top secret there. I'm going to clean all this up. Okay, let's clean things up. That was for you guys last stream. We'll get rid of that. We'll just maybe start from scratch so you can kind of see, yeah, let's just clean slate here. We're on to something new entirely. Okay, today's stream or today's lecture, whatever, functions. A lot of times I'll write it with the actual brackets so that you know. Okay, and that's what I mean. Anytime you see a word or a name with a set of brackets, you should know that's a function just by looking at it. Okay, let's continue. So yeah, so I'm going line by line, right, when the program is run, and then we get to here. And this is actually, so you can see it, right? Here's a name. Here's a set of brackets. Inside, we would put our arguments. We would create our functions with parameters, and we would put in our arguments, okay? But this is a non-argument function. It's just a basic function. That's all it is. Inside our main, and I'm going to go over this again, but this is where we're invoking our function. Okay, so I'll explain that. And then down here we have the definition of a function part. Okay, and I'll show you what I call the 3 parts of our main line coding essay. You could break these actually into I'm basically keeping everything in. We're doing everything in our source CPP file. You guys, you're just learning. We're just beginning, right? Those of you that maybe understand that you can break it into other parts, that's great, and it's wonderful to have you. But we're showing it this way, and it's fine. And yes, you can break it into parts, but let's baby step this, okay? Let's get the understanding of functions and all the goodness that goes with it, all right? Okay, so 3 parts. Okay. Have I made the first part? Yes, I have. Okay. So the first part, I haven't even read this yet, and I'm already explaining it, but I'm just wondering if I should just maybe keep reading or just explain this, but I'm already kind of into it, so I might as well already just explain it. Okay, so when the program runs, okay, it's going to go through all this stuff here, right? It's going to include this IOStream library, which we need. It's part of our main CPP file. .cpp is a source file. You might as well get that in your head. Source file, okay? And then this here is our function, okay? All right, it's a static void function, and we'll talk more about the types. This is a void function. It returns nothing. So when you hear that, really, what it means is there's no word return in it. Okay, you'll have standard coutts or whatever type of information. Okay, so it's not a return type. That's what a void is. a non-return type. And don't let that worry you so much. Really, void, if you want to just return to the console a string of text saying, hey, how you doing, guys? What's up? You could do that with a void function. It's really that simple. Okay, so but we have to give the compiler a heads up, and that's what this is. I call this the intro part, and it's above our main. If you notice, the main is where all the magic happens. Okay, this is where you make all the magic happen. That's why the main is a special type of function. Okay, it doesn't really need a return type. As you can see, it has return here, and that's what I mean. We could actually run it without it. Okay, that's why it's also a special case, because every int function does have to have a return type. The ones that you create, all right? Int main doesn't. Okay, so I have to give the program a heads up. It's like, hey, program, I have a function that I created. It's called recent follower. You know about it. I've told you about it. You're just going to have to kind of go through the lines and find it. Okay? So it's like a heads up. It's no different than telling your buddy Bob, hey, Bob, I'm going to the store later. You know? Now Bob knows. Right? So then it'll get into the main here. This is where all the magic happens, right? This is basically just the take in pre-information stuff. That's all it is, really, if you want to keep it simple like that. It goes, so everything happens inside here, and then once it gets to here, it'll go, oh, there's the function that he told me about, right? So we're calling it here. In order to be able to actually run the function, you need to call it, right? Two ways you could look at it. This is where we call our function, or also known as invoking your function. So just like an essay, it has a body, right? And I look at the main as like I'm just going to shorten this. I look at the main as like the body of our essay, okay? So calling our function is inside our body. That's part 2. And then we have part 3. So when the program or the compiler gets to this line, it'll go, oh, function. And then it jumps right to here. This is where we define our function, okay? So whatever you want returned, see guys, gals, look, it's a void. It has no return. So whenever you hear the word no return, that's all it means. We don't have the word return in it. That's all it is. And you'll see what the return does. We'll get there. Okay? But the most simplistic, easy to work with function is the void function. And as you can see, all I'm doing is returning just some information to the console. That's it. Just basic standard coutts. If you've been following the series, you'll know what that's all about. And if you have, man, that's so great. Again, if you're a little bit behind and you're just kind of following along and just jumping in, and you want to learn, I recommend you kind of start from the beginning of the series. It's great to have you. Really, it's only maybe an hour of your day. The videos are a couple hours, yes, but I usually go on tangents and, you know, there's all the intro stuff and all that. So it's not really a full hour class, right? But I do have to keep going. So the program jumps right into this, spits out all this information, and then jumps back to where it last was, and then continues on line by line. As soon as it gets to here, that's basically end of program. And there's some more terms that we'll get into. I'm just kind of giving you guys and gals a heads up. Out of scope when we're talking about memory and such, okay? As soon as it gets to the curly bracket, that's pretty much it. All right? That's it in a nutshell. So now you have a good idea, a general idea. I could read this information. What is a function? All right? And as a matter of fact, I'll just keep it right here. There it is. That's a function. And we're basically calling it. You know, as a matter of fact, I'll just show this one right here. Okay, there's our function. The type is void. All right. Okay. It's great to have you. Let me have some coffee. Sad face, I'm already halfway through my coffee. Let's continue. Let me have some coffee and we'll continue. Just above 8 fluid ounces. No bueno, no bueno! Okay, let's continue. And now I've already kind of explained this. Again, right, guys and gals, 3 parts. You have this is our header part. If you see, I put that here. The header is where we do our declaration of a function. That's why I have these notes here for you guys and gals. I have it kind of organized. And I do all these extra things. It's just to create separation. You don't normally have this stuff in a program, okay? But I just do this just for an easier visual for you guys and gals and to create like separation, right? So declaration of a function, and that's what we're doing. We're declaring the function. That's the heads up, okay? So that's our intro. This is our body. And this is our conclusion. I didn't quite explain that, but yeah, that's what I call this part the conclusion. If you notice, we're outside the main, right? This is the end of the main. So this is how you set it up. This is how you set up your functions in a singular source file. As you know, we only have one source file, that's it. If you don't know how to get your Solution Explorer up, you just click View, and it should be here in the list. I always keep mine open. Where is that? Why can't I see that? There it is, right at the top. Okay, and I always pin mine. Because sometimes you need to go to it. As a matter of fact, you can right-click. There's a lot of information. You can go through properties in here. You know, that sort of thing. You could even go properties of your actual file as well. Okay. Anyways, let's get back on track. Okay. So yeah, I don't know. I shouldn't have did that part because I kind of lost my train of thought, but hopefully it comes back. Basically, yeah, we're doing all 3 parts that's what it was, in a singular source file. Okay, a singular source file. And again, I'll show you in the future. If you stay tuned and you follow the series, I'll show you how to break it into its parts. There's 3 parts. Okay, it's not that bad, guys. Okay, it's really easy once you get it. But let's just do the basic stuff first, and let's learn how to just create functions, all right? Okay, every C++ program has at least one function. Again, main is a function, right? So that's at minimum it has. And you can actually type this yourself, guys. Okay, it's all automatic, and it's so beautiful. The fine devs that create all this software, right, do all the magic, the code behind for us to make our lives easier, because they've done a lot of the functions and methods and what else not for the classes, all the different various things that we could use. That's all done behind the scenes for us. Guys, make our life easier. It's great. They're awesome people. Okay, when your program starts, the main function is automatically .main might call other functions, some of which might call still others. Well, yeah, I'm trying to wrap it around my head what I just read there, because following the course outline, I don't know, their English is a little bit weird to me. Odd, strange, but I think what they're saying is, to the effect, yeah, we are calling another function inside the main. That's what they're trying to get at. The main point is this is automatically called when you run it, right? So we know that. Like I said, guys and gals, this is where all the magic happens. If you want to see something in the console, or, we haven't gone to a graphic user interface at all, not even close. I recommend working with a console. You could do a terminal if you want. If you want to kind of advance yourself, you could do it through a terminal as well. Nothing wrong with that. I haven't showed you how to use a terminal over here, guys. So if that's something you're interested in learning how to do, I'm sure there's someone out there that'll show you. By all means, come back. It's great to have you too. Okay. When your program starts, the main function is called automatically. Main might call other functions. Okay, I just needed to stop. That's probably why back in the old days they used to say stop for a period, just to kind of give that pause with the brain, when you're saying stuff. So, main might call other functions, some of which might call still others. And yes, main does call other functions. That's true. That's exactly what it said. Because these functions are not part of an object, they are called global. Okay? And we'll get into it, guys. Okay? Objects, just when you hear object, just think classes. Okay? We haven't done classes yet or made a class. Classes are fun too. Okay? And yes, you can still run functions in your main from a class. It's so great. You're going to love it. Okay, let's just do the easy part first. Let's just run a basic general function without a class. And that's what we're doing here. Okay, so they are called global. All right? In a sense, this is global in a sense, right? Because the program can see it throughout the whole. Like main can see it globally, right? In the sense. That is, they can be accessed from anywhere in your program. For today, you will learn about global functions unless it is otherwise noted, okay? Each function has its own name, okay? You're the creator of the names. Remember, guys and gals, you're the creator of the variables. You come up with whatever you want to name your function or name your variables. There are standards to all that. Darnskis. I want to show you that, but I also don't want to lose the spot where I'm at. Less than half. I'm just kind of guessing here. I want to see if I can find it. I hate jumping around. Well, it's not hate's a strong word. Strongly dislike jumping around so much, guys. But I want to make sure I share the information with you as well. So for you guys, let's do this. Okay, here we go. I found it. Okay, so this is some information. There might be better information, but there's industry standards the industry itself has kind of standards to how you name your variables, how you name your classes, how you name your functions, right? Some are going to be different, some are going to be the same. I recommend that once you go with a certain style, stick with it. Be consistent. Always be consistent. If you write a variable a certain way all the time, if it's a local variable, write it the same way all the time. If it's a global variable, write it the same way all the time. If it's a variable in a class, write it the same way all the time. Okay? There's different ways of typing variables. Okay? I tried to give you guys a breakdown somewhat of what's normal and common. So variable names, for example, naming conventions, right? You have a style called party size, and that's the way it's written. All lowercase with an underscore separating it. That's called snake case. And you'll see them used for private access modifiers and or specifiers. A way I like to write mine, I'll use M underscore and then whatever my variable name is. Okay, that's what I'll do as an example. Okay, it just depends if that's a private. We haven't gone into classes yet. We haven't talked about public-private accessors yet. We haven't got there, but just as an idea, that's how I type mine. So I'm using snake case for my private variables. Okay, I may even do this. You know, I don't know. It just, if you do a certain style, you got to be consistent. Meaning, if you're going with all lowercase, keep it all lowercase. If you're going all uppercase, keep it, do the mix of party size and Pascal camel case. In a sense, that's kind of what it is a little bit there. I should have a proper standard and follow guidelines a little bit better. I try my best to follow industry standards with my variables and such. Okay, so there you go. So party size, classes. Okay, you can see how it's written. Both words are both uppercase in the beginning. Setters and getters, that's all part of classes. Okay, we'll get into that. Camel case, right? Camel case I love. I use that a lot. I don't know what it is about camel case. I just like it. It's kind of neat. And then they have this other style which is called Hungarian notation, but that's why I put this. It's not used. The point is Microsoft has recently moved away from it. I think the general concept was, like, if you understand how it works, right? You declare your data type, you create your variable, you initialize it. You don't have to keep declaring that variable throughout code. So somewhere down the code, someone can see the variable and go, oh, it begins with I. So that automatically tells their brain it's an integer. That's all that I is doing. Okay? Simple guidelines when creating variables or variable names, right? Pascal case for naming classes. Hopefully I got that. I'm consistent with saying that. Camel case for naming variables or constants. With my constants, I like to have all uppercase and also an underscore. A const. Sometimes it depends if it's a member variable or not a member variable, I'll put C. I don't know. It just depends on what I'm doing. Again, right here, this means it's a, if I recall, is that global variable in a class? If I recall, naming private. I can't remember if G was for global, but I usually use M. That's what I use for M for member. And there you go. Okay, and there's a lot of different ways: camel case, Pascal case, snake case, leading upper snake case, upper snake case, screaming snake case, or uppercase. Right, this is kind of like yelling. Why are you yelling at me? Note the differences in the upper and lower cases for each letter. Again, these are used in specific areas. Like I said myself, constants, I'll make them like macros, for example. You can there's a macro for pi, but anyways, there you go. And then I have this website which may or may not help you guys, but it's there. Okay, there you go. Okay, so we've talked about that. That was a little bit longer than I wanted to, but just to give you a heads up. Okay, again, the main point is pick a style that you like. You're going to use a variation of all the different ones. Follow the guidelines and stick to it. Be consistent when you're doing it. Don't be having variable names in the same area and they all look different. Okay, they have to be consistent. It looks professional as well, guys. Okay? All right, let's continue. Each function has its own name. Okay? Again, that's why I got into off topic. You're the creator of the name. I'm using camel case, right? I don't know. For me, I don't know. It's just I went with it. That's kind of what I'm doing. Okay. Because I don't think did I have anything on methods in there? See, I don't have anything saying for what do you use for methods. Camel case, yes, you use camel case for your functions methods. That's what I had. Okay, I want to see if I can find my section on functions here. I do have some more notes in my document's almost 150,000 characters now. I've added some more information because we're on functions now. But I'm going to keep going through the course outline, all right, guys and gals? I'll read the course outline and I'll kind of go and share my material and my explanation, all right? All right. Okay, and when that name is encountered, the execution of the program branches to the body of that function. And what I just read there is, this is the part that they said when the name is encountered, okay, the execution of the program branches to the body. And this is the body. Anything inside the curly brackets is called the body or block of code. Okay? I'll just go like this, body and block of code. All right? Just some notes for you. All right. This is referred to as calling the function. Okay? That's why that's there for you. That's how you call the function. If you run your program and you don't see the results of your hard work, just, it's okay, guys. Okay? If it happens, don't be so hard on yourself. It's easy to forget that extra little detail. If you can just go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, I 1, 2, 3 my functions. I 1, 2, 3. 1. I actually call this 2 and then 3. Okay? 1, 2, 3. Okay? So if you accidentally forget to call your function, right? If I comment this out, I'm not calling my function. Watch, I'll run it. And there you go. Okay? I didn't call it. Nothing. No information, right? So if you're going, what happened? What did I do? Oh, the humanity! And then you start running around the room of your house, flailing your arms in the air, acting over dramatic and go, what did I do? I'm gonna cry. And then you're tripping on your shoelaces even though you're running around bare feet and stuff, and you fall down on your face and you trip over your cats and your dogs and your chickens and your horses and all that stuff. Oh my God, what did I do? Oh my God, the humanity! Hilarious. Okay? It's not that big of a deal. You just forgot to call it. That's all it is. Okay? Again, all the magic happens inside the main. Alright? There you go. Big yays. Big yays. So I'll show you this little diagram. I don't know. It's a visual. It may or may not help. I don't know. Maybe I'll just share the whole thing and then read that part. Okay? When a program calls, a function execution switches to the function and then resumes at the line after the function call. Okay, I know it's like a line diagram. Some people like to organize their code it's, if you really look at it, it's kind of like brainstorming. Let's say you have a program idea. You could brainstorm like this. There's actually a program that you could use to create this sort of stuff. I don't know if it's PowerPoint or I forget, guys. I don't do this kind of stuff much. You could sketch it out like this. You could brainstorm your ideas. You could show which way you want your programs to execute. All that sort of stuff. Well-designed functions perform a single, specific, and easily understood task, identified by the function name. Complicated tasks should be broken down into multiple functions, and each can be called in turn. You'll actually hear another term called helper functions, and they're great. Because here's the thing about functions. You don't want too much going on inside of a function. You don't want it doing a lot of stuff, right? You could actually break a function into two functions, and you could have a pre-function called a helper function, which helps the second function, if that makes sense. Okay, they're called helper functions. They kind of do two different things, but they help each other. Okay, I'll try to do that in the future. That's kind of in classes, all right? So complicated tasks should be broken down into multiple functions, and then each can be called in turn. Okay, I guess it just depends on what you're doing too. Functions come in two varieties: user-defined and built-in. Built-in functions are part of your compiler package. They are supplied by the manufacturer for your use. User-defined functions are the functions you write yourself. Okay, so the built-in functions, kind of like I said, right, guys? The string class has its own built-in functions. And that's the part of where I was saying earlier, the fine devs, when they create all this stuff, they're creating the functions in the code behind for us to make our lives easier. Those are the built-in functions. They're great. They're very helpful. And that's another thing that you need to kind of learn about. It just depends on what you're doing when you're programming, right? But the string class, like if I type standard string, it has its own set of built-in functions, but you can't access them unless you include it from the library. Okay, that's the magic of the library. The IO stream's the same thing. I can't think off the top of my head what functions I'm calling, but anything in the IO stream, this is it here. The cout. We can't type any of that stuff without it, guys. Okay? So I'm not going to include my string class. I'm not doing any strings right now, but that's the thing, right? If you want to be able to access the built-in functions or methods from the string class, you need to include it. It's the library, essentially, okay? And again, when you run your program, it's included in your main CPP file. So henceforth, your file is going to get a little bit bigger, okay? Because it needs all that information. What did I just do, Batman? Oh, right, because I'm not finished here. Name string, and I don't know, name string, whatever. It doesn't matter. I'm just showing a random example, okay? Did I do that right? Yes, I did. Thankfully. I don't do a lot of string stuff. I don't know. I should more. I do a lot of couts for strings, but I don't do a lot of working with strings per se. Okay, so just be aware of that, right? The built-in functions, you're gonna have to, if you want to perform a specific task or whatever, just take note that the string class actually has methods, built-in functions that we could use. It's making our lives easier. the fine devs or the coders that created all that stuff for us made our lives easier, because otherwise you're going to have to create it yourself and make it yourself. And I'm pretty sure they got a lot more experience than both of us together. Okay, I'll be real. Now that's not, don't be offensive, we're, you know, I say that because we're all at the learning stage, right? I'm just saying that. Okay, so be cool, we're good, right? All right, awesome. They do have a lot more experience, they do, right? They've been grinding a lot of code. They do some pretty special, wild, under the hood stuff. They know how to grind code. Again, always learning, guys. I'm always learning. It doesn't matter how old you are, okay? When you actually start this coding dream, you'd be amazed how much. You think just because you learned the basics and the theory, you think that's it? No, not even close. There's so much to do and so much to learn. And it depends on what you want to do, what kind of stuff you're trying to create. Okay? There's a lot of good stuff out there for us to utilize. I'm telling you. And you're going to have to learn the built-in functions that are part of a certain, like, thing that you want to do, right? You need to research what built-in functions are there for me to use, and it's great to learn them too. Okay, and so what we're doing today is we're creating our own. So we're creating user-defined functions. Okay, aka functions you write yourself. Return values, parameters, and arguments. Okay, we're going through the theory of functions and such today, guys and gals. Okay, so hopefully you got a lot of sleep. Get some coffee. I need some more coffee, to be honest. But yeah, we're going through a bit of theory and knowledge today, right? We're learning. Okay. I just say that to be inclusive. Okay. All right, the anatomy of a C++ program. When you call a function, if you can do work and then send back a value as a return of that work, that is called its return value, right? So you'll hear also return type. And the type of that return value must be declared. Thus, if you write, so here we go, we're getting into it. We're going to get into the return type functions. Remember, the void is essentially, some people will say it returns nothing. Really what they're saying is it doesn't have return, right? Void can return numbers. You can return variables or values. Yes, you can. But really all you're doing is printing them to the screen. That's all you're really doing. We're going to get into the return type, and the return type functions, actually you use them for like doing calculations, mathematical things, right? That's the great thing about them. You could have a user enter information, and that's where we're going to get into parameters and arguments. They're very useful. Right here, this one, it takes nothing. Functions can take in information. They can accept information and then spit out information. All right. You'll see examples here shortly, okay? So if I type something like, let me just get rid of this. Int. Now, my program isn't going to recognize it, because here's the key thing, guys. We have to declare our function. We have to define our function. Where am I going, Batman? We have to define our function, right, before we could even call it. Okay? So if I just start typing into my function, the program might go, what are you doing, Bob? I don't know what you're talking about. Okay? So be aware of that. Okay? It actually typed it up. I'm not seeing any errors. we're not really calling it, but well, what I've done here is I've declared an int type function is what I've done. You are declaring a function called myFunction that will return an integer value. Now consider the following declaration, right? So it's obvious. An int function will return an integer value. You can also, if you've been following along, you know all the different data types. You can also have a double function. Okay. Here we go. So I'm going to show you that we could actually put in parameters. Okay. Are these parameters well, I guess we're putting in arguments. The two words parameters and arguments are kind of like intertwined with each other, just like functions and methods are. So it just depends on kind of what they're doing. So what I'm doing here is, and my program's not going to recognize it, which is normal. So this one, what I've typed here is this function will accept a integer data type, and it'll also accept a float data type. What can happen is we could get a user to enter information and pass that information into here. Okay, so this is broken code right now, right? But we're just showing examples. Okay, guys? So be aware, right? Int functions can take in an int. Looks like it'll take in a float, but it'll actually return an int. I don't know, it's not the way I would set it up. I'd probably just create my own float function, but this declaration indicates that my function will still return an integer, but it also takes two values, right? See, that's exactly what I was already thinking. So yes, it could take in a float. It'll probably use that float value in a calculation of sorts within the body of it, but it returns an integer value because that's what an int function does. Okay? It only returns whatever its return type is, and its return type is int. When you send values into a function, these values act as variables that you can manipulate from within the function. The description of the values you send is called a parameter list, right? That's what it's called. I don't usually focus on that kind of terminology too much, but it doesn't hurt to know about it. It's called a parameter list. Again, I think of them as parameters as well. I don't really think of them as a list, but per se, yeah, they could be a list. Okay? In that example, the parameter list contains some value that is a variable of type integer and some float that is a variable of type float, right? These are data types. It's an int data type, an integer, and that's a float data type. We're talking about data types, guys. Separate it in your mind. You have data types, which, you know, I've been doing in the past, right? Right? And then you can also have float type. I don't know, I'm just going to go 3.54. A lot of times you'll see somebody put an F behind, right? That's kind of being like explicit in a sense. I don't mind doing that. I'll put the F behind. I don't think it's really necessary. But there you go. So these are data types, right? Local variables, local to the int main. Again, they're data types. This is an integer type function. That's the difference. These are variables. These are functions. You can clearly see that, right? You just kind of have to organize it in your head. That's all. An int function returns an integer data type, and essentially, okay. All right. So the parameter describes the type of value that will be passed in, right? The parameter. This is the type of value that's being passed in. This is the type of value that's being passed in, right? Into the function when the function is called. Again, it has to have, if you actually create these and it has to take in both, you actually have to pass in two arguments, an integer and a float, or else you'll have breaks. You'll have an error, okay? Compile time errors. All right, you have to pass it in. The actual values you pass into the function are called arguments. Yeah, that's the difference, right? These are parameters. And yes, yeah. So now I have this separation in my mind. So if I actually copy this, right, I would probably, I would use a symbolic literal, but I'll just do this for an example. Okay? I'll just pass in this value right here. Okay? These are the parameters. That's the difference, right? You'll hear the words parameters and arguments intertwined in the same sentence, but really that's in a nutshell, that's it. Right? Here we're passing in parameters, right? And here we're actually passing in arguments. Okay? Right? You see what the difference is? These are the same thing, right? This is the same thing. But in the sense we're putting in our parameters, and here we're putting in our arguments. Okay? I'm going to continue on. Here you see that an integer variable, the value returns. I have another one. I'm going to just change this. Okay. I'll just change the name of it. Or no, I'll just go like that. It doesn't really matter. Okay. Is initialized with the values returned by my function and the value. Again, these would be in the int main, right? This would be set up down here. Okay, in your definition. This will be, we actually wouldn't need that part, but this is how when you pass in your arguments, it would be inside your int main. Okay, just to organize it in your head. Where do you do this, right? So this belongs down here. Of course, we still have to create the body of it, right? And then when we call the function, we're passing in the arguments in the int main, okay? Just so you can see where you do what. Okay. Declaring and defining functions. Using functions in your program requires that you first declare the function, right? Just like I was showing you. We have to declare it first. So at the top in our header, we're declaring our function. Okay? So I guess I should have mentioned they're called function prototypes. Okay? So if you're like working for a company or working with somebody else, you need to understand this lingo. Okay? So that you can understand what somebody's saying to you, right? You need to understand the coding lingo. If somebody says, well, you forgot your function prototype, you're not staring at them with a blank, stupid look on your face. You know what I mean? I don't want that for you guys. It's great to have you. Okay, that's a function prototype. Okay, so we're declaring, right? First we declare. This is our 1, 2, 3 step, right? And then the second step is your definition. I guess it doesn't matter the order. You could create your definition first, and then you could, don't forget to, declare it. And then thirdly is always calling it. Okay? 1, 2, 3 step. Okay, the declaration tells the compiler the name, the return type, and the parameters of the function. That's correct. Okay, I would have this at the top as well, right? Except in that sense, it would look like this. I would have it like this because you don't need the variable up top. You only need to tell the program, hey, I have an int function. It takes in an int and a float. This is the heads up part. That's all it is. Down here, whoops. Down here is where you would have the variable, okay? And of course, it would look like that, okay? See how it all of a sudden fixed up? Because now I just told the program, hey, I got this, and I've got my definition, right? Does it make sense? I hope so. At the top, you don't need to have the variables. It doesn't care. It doesn't need to know what variables. All it needs to know is, hey, it's an int function that takes in an int and a float. That's all it cares about. When it jumps into here, I'll show you how, in some examples, how this works here, okay? It could be something simple as something value times something float. And then we just return whatever. Okay? We'll get there. Let's get into the theory and the understanding first, right? I think it's key, guys. Anybody could go watch a 5-minute video on how to type a function. Big deal. And they ran a function, they made it work. Great. That's awesome. But do they even understand how or what or why? Do they understand the theory? You know what I mean? I know anybody could drive a car and they don't need to know how an engine works. I get that. But I think with coding, it's mandatory. Because as far as I'm concerned, if you don't understand the theory and the lingo, need to know the lingo, then if you don't, then you're just copy and paste what are they, chat GPT NPC coder. Not you guys though, watching. Okay, just so we're clear. All right, that's why I get unfollows, because people can't deal. They can't handle real talk. Too bad for them. If they unfollow, I don't want them back, because I really don't care. Okay. Yeah. Okay, let's continue. All right. The definition tells the compiler how the function works, right? Basically, we got to put in the information and tell the compiler what to do, right? No function can be called from any other function if it hasn't been first declared. And that's correct, right? You have to declare it first. In all honesty, you can skip this part and it'll work too. If I cut this out and put it at the top instead, I don't like doing this, so I'll just undo, but I could do that, right? This will work because really what I'm doing is I'm declaring and doing the definition at the top. I'm doing both parts at the top. So this is legal to do, but I don't recommend getting into this groove because Eventually, you're going to learn how to create your own source file, a second source file, and a header file. Okay, that's why I'm showing you the 1, 2, 3 step. Okay, there we go. Make sure we're good. I'm just going to build it. We should be good. Oh yeah, I'm not finished with my code. So what it's saying there, so this is good. I'm glad this happened. We are so far we are creating an integer function. Okay, we are slowly defining it. We're not quite done yet, and the program is going, and this is good for you guys to see as well. This is all part of the learning and being able to understand what is the error list telling me, right? You have to be able to decipher and understand what it's telling you. And really what it's saying is the value must return, the value return must return a value, okay? So it gives me a line number. Obviously the file is the main. We only have one source file. You could click this and actually look for internet information. So you could actually do that. I'll click it. Let me bring up the internet here, right? So it'll take you to like this page. This is great source of material here from Microsoft. It's great. It's wonderful, beautiful. It'll give you an example. It'll, they're vague, but it might help, right? All you really need to do is, if it's giving you that error and you want to get rid of it and you're not done figuring out how you're going to do your program or write your body, just put return 0. Okay, there. If I build it, it should clean up. It should go away. Boom, let's go. Just like that, easy. Okay, so you can do that while you're kind of just slowly building your int function. I haven't quite got one set up here. I'll probably have an example coming up, but it could be something like, I don't know, we might have to create a new int, return value. It's not really a good name. And I could say some value, I don't know, plus or times, just depends on what I want to do. Maybe it's by some float, and then I would return the result of that, right? Essentially that's it in a nutshell. Okay, and I could call this, but I have to be able to pass in values too. I could get it to work. We're almost there, but that's how simple it is, guys. It's really that simple. I mean, this is just an example. That's all it is. A simple example. Again, I have to create a new integer. It has to. So this is a right-hand side calculation. Right-hand side stuff is kind of like floating in limbo information. It's not really stored anywhere. Right-hand side is limbo information. That's why we have a left-hand side variable. Okay, we have to create a left-hand side variable to store that information. So whatever happens on the right-hand side gets stored into this variable, right? On the stack, in memory, with a memory address, the value, the answer is inside the container. Okay, and then it'll return that answer. Okay. Passing in parameters. Okay, I'm not seeing any breaks here, but I think that's the way it's set up, if I recall. I'm thinking the color here is a little bit off, so I don't know if that is good or not. I think it is. Let's continue. No function can be called from any other function if it hasn't been declared. A declaration of a function is called a prototype. Okay, there we go. That's the terminology. I've already told you about it, but there you go. Okay, that's our step 1, if you want to call it step 1. Again, you could do step 2 first and then do step 1. However you want to do it. It's up to you. Okay? It doesn't matter the order of which way you type it. Just make sure you have your prototype and just make sure you have your definition. And then lastly, you call it. It's that simple. Okay, we're doing global functions, right, guys? Gals? Global functions. Right? Okay, believe that's what they called it, global. I never really thought of it that way, but it in a sense is a global. Yeah. Where did I read that? They are called global. That is, they can be accessed from anywhere in your program. Okay. Whoops. There. Okay. Possible loss of data. Yeah, that's normal because we're multiplying an int by a float. So yeah, that can happen, right? You lose. If you didn't sleep in mathematics class, you know what significant digits are, and you're losing accuracy. Essentially, that's what it's saying. It's saying, hey, Bob, what are you doing? You know? That's why I would probably have a float function. And, yeah. I would just turn this int into a float, just have it as decimal 0, you know? Then you have no issues. Okay, so if I go float and then float, it should work to get rid of the problem. And I have to fix it up here as well, right? Okay, they have to match, guys. Okay, let's see if that cleaned it up. Yeah, there we go. Bye-bye. Okay, problem solved. Again, if it's an integer, just make it 1.0. And there we go. I just showed you how to create an int, and I just showed you how to create a float. You can have float, float functions as well. It's amazing! Okay, and then I got rid of that problem, right? No issues now. I mean, on the other hand, I could also cast and do all this other stuff, but this is just, we're keeping it basic for now, okay? We'll talk about all that other stuff in the future. In the future. In the future. It's great to have you. Thank you for being here. Okay, where are we here? Yeah, I just scrolled up, so I gotta get back to where was I last? Declaring, yeah, okay. Am I reading in the same spot? I hope so. Okay, 3 ways exist to declare a function, and I just showed you guys actually. Write your prototype into a file, and then you, oh, okay, yeah, no. So what they're showing is, they're talking about the 3 parts. So I could actually break, I could go add, I could create another module, I could create another CPP file, another source file. That's our definition, guys. And then I could create my header as well. So that's what they're talking about. And I'll do that in the future, right? Those are the 3 parts, right? This is our header. That's our header. This is also a source file or our source code. This is still also our source code, but I call it the main. I always do that. And then this can have its own name, right? You would be essentially creating another .cpp file and a .h file, okay? And then have it in 3 parts. But again, you have to have your include headers too, right? Which is what they're kind of getting into. Are we going to get into that today? I don't know. I thought maybe we would go over some sort of examples right here. So actually I would be passing in also another float to actually be accurate. Okay. Define a function before it's okay, although. Alright, let me just read this. Write the prototype into a file. So it would be in its own file, essentially. Define the function before it is called by any other function. When you do this, the definition acts as its own prototype. The define the function, right? The define, acts as its own prototype. Although you can define the function before using it and thus avoid the necessity of creating a function prototype, this is not good programming practice for 3 reasons. Okay, that's exactly what I was talking about, right? So in the past, I've showed how to do the 1, 2, 3 step, right? Which I'm showing right now, the 1, the 2, and the 3 step, right? You can also do it in a 2 step where you put the definition at the top. Okay, so let's explain why that's a bad idea. Okay, first, it is a bad idea to require that functions appear in a file in a particular order. Doing so makes it hard to maintain the program when requirements change. Essentially, you would be having that it wouldn't have its own source file, for one, right? Because I could actually take this and put it into its own .cpp file. If it's up here, well, now it's become part of the main. That's the only way it's going to see it. Okay, let's continue. Again, this is the header part, right? This is a header. A header is different from a .cpp file. Second, it is possible that function A needs to be able to call function B. We're just doing hypotheticals here, but function B also needs to be able to call function A under some circumstances. It is not possible to define function A before you define function B, and also to define function B before you define function A, so at least one of them must be declared in any case. Our brain broke just like reading that, right? So let's just, if we do the 1, 2, 3 step, you're going to be golden, okay? Third, function prototypes are a good and powerful debugging technique, right? Function prototypes. If your prototype declares that your function takes a particular set of parameters are whatever's inside, okay, these are parameters, or that it returns a particular type of value, then your function does not match the prototype. The compiler can flag your error instead of waiting for it to show itself when you run the program, right? So you'll get squigglies, right? If they don't match. They must match, essentially. Okay, they're actually good. Errors are good. What they're saying is the function prototype will give you kind of a heads up and say, hey Bob, what are you doing? You got something wrong. Okay. This is like double entry bookkeeping. The prototype and the definition check each other. Yeah, I like that. Reducing the likelihood that a simple typo will lead to a bug in your program. Okay, yeah, it is. So yeah, the function prototype, definitely. It'll give you that error checking. It'll say, hey, you got something, because you can mess up your definition. It's easy to do that if you're not, maybe the girlfriend rolled up and started talking to you about what's for dinner tonight, and then you forgot what you were doing. It's life. Okay. Despite this, the vast majority of programmers select the third option. This is because of the reduction in the number of lines of code. Yeah, no, I'm not doing that because I like to break mine into parts now. I do, into its 3 parts. They're just being lazy. Oh, I just saved a line of code. I got 999 lines now instead of 1,000. I'm better. Okay, let's continue. All right. Where was I? Okay. The simplification of maintenance changes to the function header also requires changes to the prototype. Yeah, you change your prototype, you have to change your declaration or definition, I meant. And the orders of functions in a file is usually fairly stable. At the same time, prototypes are required in some situations. I have no issues creating 3 parts. Like, how hard is it? We're just typing letters. And you could cut and paste, and again, you have to pay attention to what you're doing too, right? Don't let the girlfriend distract you, okay? It's okay if she does. Or the boyfriend, if it's a girl coder learning, right? My bad. Sorry to forget about you. You're awesome, by the way. Function prototypes. Many of the built-in functions, you will have their function prototypes already written for you, right? Remember, built-in are done for you guys, okay? They're done for us, making our lives easier. And they're amazing people for doing that. These appear in the files you include in your program by using the hashtag include. Okay, so for example, I've already kind of leading up to all of this, right? But there you go. Your hashtag includes are part of your header. All right. For functions you write yourself, again, the header is your intro. If we're talking about a line coding essay, okay? For functions you write yourself, you must include the prototype. This is facts, yeah. You don't need to with built-in, right? The built-in, you can access them, it's great. Instant access through your main. The function prototype is a statement, which means it ends with a semicolon, right? All statements end with a semicolon, right, guys, gals? It consists of the function's return type and signature. The function's signature is its name and parameter list, if there is a parameter list. Okay? The parameter list is a list of all parameters and their types, separated by commas, right? Pay attention to the little details when you're writing code. Syntax and semantics, boys and girls. Syntax and semantics. Okay? The parameter list is a list of all the parameters and their types, separated by commas. Okay, so I'll just share this little image, a little visual, nothing special, but kind of copied it in a little bit of a weird spot, but that's okay. Okay, parts of a function prototype. Right? The return type, the name is what you, the user, the master coder that you are, you're the creator of the names. And then of course, every function has brackets. For myself, I always have my brackets right up against my name. There's no space. For me, that's weird looking. Some people may do it that way. I'm not a fan of it. But again, each to their own, guys. And if you're doing this at home, you decide how you want to do your code, okay? Nobody can judge what you do at home. Again, if you're going to do something, be consistent. And then inside we have a parameter list, we have the parameter types, and we have the parameter names, right? Again, the function prototype doesn't need the name. I've showed you guys and gals that, right? You don't need the name. You can put it there, okay? Right, I could just copy this. Again, this is a personal preference thing, right? You can have them there. Okay? But you can also not have them there. That's only in your function prototype. Okay? The function prototype And the function definition must agree exactly about the return type and signature, right? So one can't be a float and one can't be an int, is what they're saying. If they do not agree, you receive a compile time error. Okay? Compile time errors are the errors you'll get before you even run it. It's great. It's like, hey Bob, what are you doing? Okay? Note, however, that the function prototype does not need to contain the names of the parameters, just their types. Haha! And I just said that. I'm already ahead of the game here. A prototype that looks like this is perfectly legal. Okay? This prototype declares a function named area. This is another example. Oh yeah, you can have longs. Now again, I'll bring up data types quickly, guys and gals. Right here, right? All your different data types. Okay. Now, why did I bring that up? Because, and I don't want to scare you, but you can have long, area, int. Okay, I just created a prototype and it's a long, okay? Yeah, and down here it's just saying I haven't created my definition. That's all it is. The program's being nice and saying, hey Bob, you haven't done your definition. I know about it, but I don't know what to do with it. Okay? I just told the compiler about it. I said, hey compiler, look at me. This prototype declares a function named area that returns a long, and that has two parameters. Remember, it'll return a long, okay? And it has two parameters, both are integers. Although this is legal, it is not a good idea, okay? It is ugly, yes. I like matching data types for me, personally. Accuracy, I think significant digits and accuracy, and it just looks kind of cringy. Although adding parameter names makes your prototype clearer, the same function with named parameters might be right. Again, this is the prototype area. Maybe you're creating your prototype first, and that's fine. You can start typing your prototype first, and then you can actually highlight it, right click, quick actions and refactoring, create declaration and definition. Boom. Isn't that magical? Look at that. Look at that magic, guys. It's so magical. And that's how quick that is. And then I could just go back up top and go like this. Whoops. And get rid of the names. And we're still golden. We're going to continue. These are just examples, okay, guys and gals? It is much more obvious what this function does and what the parameters are. Note that all functions have a return type. Okay, in this case, it'll just return 0. It would run, and it would just return 0. But of course, it might argue and say, hey, Bob, you need to put in some values, right? We can put in values, but it'll still return 0. It's kind of like an oxymoron function. Okay, it is now much more obvious what this... Okay, note that all functions have a return type. If none is explicitly stated, the return type defaults to int. Your program will be easier to understand. Again, 0 is an integer. So there you go. That's a hint right there. If you have a question on an exam, right? Something to the effect of, if none is explicitly stated, the return type defaults to int. Okay, if you think return 0, 0 is an int, so it defaults to an int. Yes, it does. Your programs will be easier to understand. However, if you explicitly declare the return type of every function, including main, right? Main. I think you could actually declare this as void. I think it still works. I think I don't know. I don't have much opinion on that. For me, I learned right from the beginning when I started my journey in C++. Main is an int, and I just stick with it. You can put parameters in here as well, but I believe that's a C language thing as well. Okay, something to do with strings and arrays and some of that. I've had that stuff in the past. I actually have it, but it's not that important. It's not necessary for what we're doing. With the int main, no parameters, okay? Nothing. Don't put anything. Not required. Okay, if your function does not actually return a value, you declare its return type to be void, right? A void doesn't, right? I've explained that, right? A void doesn't need return, okay? It's the only one that you don't need. All the other ones, you have to end it with return. It could be a variable name, it could be whatever it is, but it has to have return, okay? Void does not require a return type. Okay? Void could be... I haven't thought of any examples, but I think void can take in an integer. It can take in an int, right? But you obviously would have to put an int in it, and all it would do really is just return whatever that value is, right? It would be like a standard cout type return. That makes sense, right? You would have to return it using a standard cout. Return, in this sense, this actually forcefully, explicitly returns that value. And this can be used as our helper functions. Ooh, helper functions. Let's go. Yes, helper functions. They're beautiful. Okay, let's see. Actually, they'd be called helper methods because normally I create them and I'm in a class. So, okay. He said, she said, potatoes, potatoes, tomatoes, tomatoes. It doesn't really matter, boys and girls, because it all cooks the same. That's right. I need to finish up here. We're probably at 2 hours already. Again, guys, gals, Don 1, Don 2, the 1. Let's go. What's up, gang? I gotta say hello to Don today. Today we are saying hello to Don. Don 2, the 1. I got Buongiorno and Don 2, the 1, and... who else? Oh my god, I'm terrible. I'm so terrible. I am a bad friend. Can't think of his name offhand. I'll let you guys know in the future, okay? We're going to say hi to Dawn today. I'm going to clean up what I have here and do a quick build. Actually, it'll work, to be honest. Let me just go... It should build. I don't think I have any errors. Yeah, so I can still run it. Hello, Don 2, the 1. Let's go. Say hello. Say hello. I think he's grinding Fortnite. Good on him. I kind of stopped gaming. I don't want to get into it, but yeah, I'm a COD gamer, and I'm a keyboard, I'm originally a consoler, okay guys, gals? I've always played console controller with no aim support. I'm a natural, okay? And I've moved to PC. COD, the first time I played COD was on PC. And it's been keyboard and mouse. And I've done a hardcore keyboard and mouse grind. I find I'm a pretty skilled base gamer. Shipment was my jam. Get close to me. Get close to me. I'll make you look like a fool. But I just can't play against these aim lockers. I'm just tired of that. As a matter of fact, I want to create a program where somebody with aim hacks aims at me. I actually change their X and Y's to negative. So I multiply the X and Y values of their aim by negative, so they're actually aiming somewhere else. Again, I'm a think out of the box type coder. I'm not a chat GPT copy and paste NPC coder like most people seem to be nowadays. I'm not saying you guys, right? It's just like, can they not, don't they know how to like think out of the box? There's got to be a way for you to make an opponent, an enemy, aim a different direction. Like, just mess up. You know, you feel me? If somebody does that and creates a program, I'm suing you, okay? Because it's my idea. All right? If you want to work together, create a program as a team, by all means, I'm down. Let's move forward. Okay, and then Call of Duty might actually get players back because it looks like Battlefield 6 is winning right now. That's what it looks like. Okay, but anyways, yeah, I prefer playing zombies. I love zombies. I still have Black Ops 3 on PC. It's so fun. I don't play enough though, because all I do is just grind code. I'm working on projects right now. It's great to have you. I need to finish up. Okay, where are we here? Okay, yeah, right? So a void can take, if your function does not actually return a value, you declare its return type to be void as shown here. So we could actually do the same with a void, right? I'm going to delete these, but yes, like I was saying, here's something really generic, right? We just want to print a number to the console, okay? And it's going to take an int num value. All right, there we go. Okay, and then I could highlight quick actions refactoring, declare, leave it like that, and then, as a matter of fact, I'm going to get rid of this long. I'm going to go like this. And I'm doing something you guys haven't seen yet. We're going to talk about that in the future. But I'm just going to do this for now. Okay, just don't worry about it right now. And then I'm going to see, okay, so we got that. Return, we do have to put a return. I just want to test this for fun. And return num value. That's it. That's simple. Build that. Oh, hold up. Print number, void. Did I type void? Oh. Hang on. What? Oh, right. Stop, Johnny. Stop. We gotta do this. I said this earlier. See, my brain was thinking I'm putting in an int, so I was thinking of returning an int. So that's what my brain was thinking. But we're actually returning num value, and this is the way you would do it, guys. My bad. These errors are nice because I immediately figured out, okay, what are you telling me? And I understand. There. Okay, so I'm going to build it, right? Void, right? That's what it's telling me. It's a void. This is good that you guys see this, right? So if you see this and it's saying void function returning a value, that's what it means. And we've already explained this. Okay, I got to make sure I delete that as well. Right? Void doesn't have a return. Void does not have a return type. I just put 0 for now. Okay, you following? Now I'm going to call the method. I'm going to get rid of this. I'm going to get rid of this because I need to finish up, and I'm just cleaning things up. I'm going to get rid of this and go like this, build it, run it, but we have to pass in a value. So I'm going to show you guys, this is how you pass in a value. So I could do two things. I could just copy this. Again, you don't need, once you declare, up here you can see you're declaring the data type or the function type. Down here we're also declaring the function type. They have to match, okay guys? The only thing it doesn't need is this. Okay? But I'm going to copy this. So when I'm actually calling my function, aka invoking my function, I don't need the return type. Okay? But I'm not passing in that. I'm passing in a value, right? So as a matter of fact, I could go like this. Let's do this. Since I already have some up here, why can I not type English? I'm going to get rid of this float, and I don't know, I'm going to put the number 38, okay? And then we're going to pass in this local value. I'll show you how easy it is to return stuff, right? We have to pass in a value. I could put in a number. I could do that, right? As long as you're passing in some sort of integer value. And that's how easy it is to do, guys. So Z, there, boom, build, run, and let's see the magic happen. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. And that's that easy. So yeah, like void is the easiest one to use. And I wanted to show you guys and gals an example, and here's the example, right? You can actually return an integer. You can, but again, it's a void. Void doesn't have a return type. Okay. Void does not have a return type. Not required. It is not required. But we do have to return that value through a standard cout. Okay? That easy. And again, we can pass in a value, print it to the screen, magic is done. Alright? When we do an int one, you'll see, I'll have to show you the way to return it to the screen, right? We actually have to create a new variable to do that. Okay, I want to see how long we're into this stream. We're actually at 2 hours now. I'm trying to keep the streams 2 hours so that you guys actually continue watching, right? That's the goal. And then next we'll actually write something. So I'll snip this. I'll share this little golden bit of information with you guys and gals. Okay, nice little visual. Again, we're working on an older course outline, but the theory and everything's all the same, guys and gals. Okay, the basics, the theory, it's all the same. All right. As you advance and grow your skill set, you'll learn new things. We've got a lot of good stuff to get into, guys. Functions make magic happen. And I just showed you. We made some magic happen. Defining the function. The definition of a function consists of the function header and its body. The header is like the function prototype, except that the parameters must be named and no terminating semicolon is used. Okay, I'm not sure where they're saying that, but the body of the function is a set of statements enclosed in braces, right? The curly brackets is the body. You see curly brackets is the body, right? Take note, guys and gals. when you are creating your definition, note there's no semicolon. It ends in curly brackets, right? Notice the little subtleties and differences, okay? The function prototype ends in a semicolon, okay? The definition ends in, and I could go like this, ends in curly braces, okay? Except these curly braces are these curly braces, okay? Don't duplicate them, okay? That's the difference. Okay, the body of the function is a set of statements. The closed braces shows the header and the body of a function. Okay, and then these are all the parts, right? The return type is int. The name is the name that the user or the coder, the master coder that you are, right? You come up with that name. You are the creator, the inventor of whatever words are used here. Inside the curly brackets, then you ask yourself, do I want it to take in parameters? Do I want it to accept arguments? Right? As you can see, a simple one here is we'd be passing in values. It would do the calculation and it would return whatever that value is. But take note, if you try to invoke a method like this or a function in your main, you're not going to see a value. Okay, I'll have to show you how to do that in the next video. Okay, guys and gals, we'll do an example next video. Yes, we are. We're going to do a good example next video, and it's going to really be awesome. So stay tuned, guys and gals. You're going to love it. Thank you so much for watching. You guys are such beautiful, intelligent people. You hit the play button. You've been watching and following the series. Bless you, you amazing person. Johnny Whiskey Tango Sharp Coding. I appreciate y'all. We'll see you in the next video, the next live stream. Have a great rest of your weekend because it is Friday over here. Friday! Who doesn't love weekends? Yeah, we all do, don't we? All right, have a great weekend, guys and gals. Be safe. Much love. Johnny for now saying peace out, guys. Take care. And peace out. Did I say peace out? Peace!